In this video, I've got 10 awesome budget decks for Magic the Gathering, many with 0 rares. Chapters below and deck lists in the description for your convenience. Let's get right into it. Today we're going to be playing a 0 rare blue-black poison proliferate deck. Let's go through the cards one by one so you can see how it's going to work. So we have the Bilious Skull Dweller, 1 mana, 1/1, Death Touch, Toxic 1. Great way to get that first poison counter, which is pretty essential to this deck. We want to try and get that first poison counter as quickly as possible. Turn on all our proliferation. Prologue to Phyrexian, another great way to get that early poison counter. We also have Voidwing Hybrid, a 2 mana, 2/1 flyer with Toxic 1. It also can come back to our hand if we ever proliferate. And Pestilent Siphoner, another good way to get that first poison counter in. 2 mana, 1/1 flyer with Toxic 1. Then we have some removal. We have Drown and Ichor, -4/-4 and proliferate. It's a sorcery. We have Anoint with Affliction, that when they have 3 poison counters, it can exile any creature for just 2 mana. We have Serum Snare that can bounce something. If it had a mana value of 3 or less, we get to proliferate. And then we have Experimental Augury. Look at the top 3 cards, put 1 into our hand, proliferate. Distorted Curiosity, ideally is drawing 2 cards for just a single mana. We have a counter spell that also proliferates, and we have a removal spell that proliferates, so we can get them to sack a creature or planeswalker, and they get a poison counter. We're playing 24 lands. We're obviously not playing any of the rare lands, but that would be a quick, easy upgrade. Put some of the untapped dual lands. So that's the deck. Let's go ahead and jump into game number 1. I'm gonna mull. Can't really stumble in this deck. We'll keep 6. We'll keep our 2 lands. We'll start with the Voidwing Hybrid. If we were going to eat removal, we want it to be that. And we'll probably just play another one, depending on what they do. It's a good start for us. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll just play another one. Hit for 2. And we got that key first poison counter, so that's great. Hopefully they just play a creature here, and we can Vraska's Fall. I'll take that. Alright, great. So we get to go... Well, we're just gonna play... yeah, we need to get that creature out of here, just since I forgot it has reach. Then we get them to 4. And off to a good start. So hopefully we hit one of our draw spells here, like Distorted Curiosity, Prologue to Phyrexian. Just a way to start to get some more gas in our hands. Okay. Target non-land permanent. So I think we do this. We could Augury, try to hit a land. Get those 2 hybrids back. Let's go for that. We'll proliferate. We'll get back... Let's grab Vraska's Fall or Drown and Ichor. Probably Drown and Ichor is a little bit better. We'll get that. We'll get our 2 hybrids back. And we'll play Pestilent Siphoner. They're going to draw a card. We want to be careful about playing out too many creatures, knowing that they're playing a card like Brotherhood's End. Although we did eat one already. Are you drawing 2 or -5, -5? Okay. So that's alright. So here... I would love to try to hit another spell. This is kind of greedy here, I think. The fact that they're using removal on these makes me think they don't have an answer to these. I wish we had access to one more blue. We had a really nice turn there. That's alright. Again, that's one downside of the budget deck, is the mana's really bad. So you kind of have to make do with the common lands. Again, if you're going to spend wildcards on Arena, the rare lands is like the best thing you can do, because they power up your deck so much, and then they're used in everything. Okay, so they have a bunch of 4/4s coming in. So we're going to die really soon, unless we can kill them now, which can we? So we can go 1, 2, 3. We're 2 short. So we can survive for a turn. So we go 1. We go 2. And then we're gonna Serum Snare. Hopefully they just get a little bit greedy and just attack with the 2 4/4s. If they have another one, we're just dead. Okay, going to combat. Excellent. So we get to bounce that, get them to 8. Okay, drawing a card. No counterspell. Why didn't we get to proliferate? For target non-land permanent, if that permanent had mana value 3 or less. Oh, it's a copy. It has 9. It has mana value 9. Okay. Well, we might still be okay here. I thought it was a token. That's my bad. I thought that was going to be 8. Okay, so playing out all their stuff. And hopefully... Let's see. Let's draw. Let's 8. Come on. Oh no! We can't finish them off. It's only 9. Damn. A little unlucky there. But hey, that wasn't bad. That was a good showing. Alright, we'll keep this. Go Siphoner. See what our opponent's playing. So we've got green-white. Duelist of Deep Faith. Okay, so here we're gonna Vraska's Fall. Make them sack their creature. And get them to 2 poison. And then next turn, hopefully they just play like a Bloated Contaminator or something that we can use Drown and Ichor on. Okay. So that's good enough, I think. So we can Drown and Ichor the 2/2. Proliferate them to 3. Get them to 4 with that Siphoner, and then play another one. And then next turn, we can Distorted Curiosity. No blocks here. They can have that first one. Sentry. Okay. So here... We could probably do that on their turn. Let's Distorted Curiosity, see what we hit. Actually, we can do this now. Is better, I think. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that now. Hit them for 1 more. And then we'll decide whether we want to Augury or Serum Snare. Either one proliferates. And we're fine going to 2. I feel pretty comfortably ahead in the race here. Okay, Annex Sentry again. So we're just gonna Serum Snare that. So let them exile it, and then we'll Serum Snare. And there you go. Happy to keep this. And hopefully one of these can get through. They don't have a turn 1 removal spell for the Skull Dweller. Excellent. Okay, so we'll just hit for 1. Get that first counter going. Hopefully they just play a 2-drop that we could Serum Snare. Would be a decent start. Okay, Virus Beetle. We will happily discard a land. Now, we're not going to trade off with that thing. So, let's just go ahead and... Yeah, we'll hit for 1. And we can pass. We'll see what they want to play. Maybe we want to Serum Snare whatever their 3-mana play is. That's probably good enough to Serum Snare their mana ramp. That does give us a proliferate trigger. Okay. We'll trade now since we have another Skull Dweller coming down. Let's see what we draw first. Or what we want to draw, rather. Could anoint. Grab the hybrid for a future turn. It might just be the anoint. Probably the hybrid. I don't think they might have a hard time dealing with flyers. Probably the hybrid. Put them to 4 counters. Let's go ahead and trade now. I'm fine with this now. And then we're going to hold the Skull Dweller. Or hold the land, rather. Because we might need to discard it. If they're playing discard. Okay, Ambitious Farmhand. They get a Plains. They need 3 creatures of different powers to flip that. Virus Beetle. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and discard the Swamp. And do we want to trade off? There's not really any reason to, I guess. And then we'll play the hybrid. And here we will play the land. Now their discard spells are kind of pointless. Okay. So creating treasure. They're going to need to start attacking us. We will happily take 1 here. Okay, nothing. Let's put them to 8 counters. And hopefully we can untap with these flyers. Maybe hit a spell. I think they're going to have a hard time winning this game, because every card off of our library that's not a land gets them closer to being dead. Okay, so that doesn't matter. Okay, we're gonna block here, because we're not getting through with this anyway. All right, so we'll take that. If they attacked with Galgreeters or the Ellis, I would have done that. So I think that's it. There you go. Good game. Okay, let's see. So we only have 1 of our colors, but we have a bunch of stuff to do. Any land gets us to Vraska's Fall. Excellent draw there. No trades here if they attack. Poison counters are much more valuable than just a point of damage if they want to hit us for 1. Okay. That's fine. Let's see if they want to trade here, perhaps. Yeah, I think they might have removal, so maybe they'll use it on the Skull Dweller. Or perhaps they have like a, gain 2 indestructible. Like the Tameo Safekeeping. No? Okay, so we'll just go for the hybrid. Next turn, probably Vraska's Fall, depending on what they play. We really want to get that first poison counter on them. Dawnheart Mentor. Okay, so they get a 1/1. That is fine by me. But that does get them out of the... So they're going to have some sort of Coven deck going on, it seems like. Let's just go ahead and play another Voidwing hybrid. Next turn we can double spell. We can play Drown and Ichor plus Pestilent Siphoner. Vraska's Fall is really bad when they have this 1/1. Still use it to get a poison counter, but it's not going to be an efficient turn. Uvenwald Oddity. Okay. So, well, that's our target for Drown and Ichor. So we'll go ahead and play our land. We'll Drown and Ichor. That second poison counter. Play Siphoner. Attack twice. Get them to 4 counters. Next turn with no answers, they're at 7. And we're not under a ton of pressure. No blocks, clearly. Down to 14. Sniper's Fang. Okay. So now, go ahead and get them to 7. They probably don't have board wipes in this deck, so we'll just go ahead and play the last card here. The odds that they can clear our board are slim. I don't think there's a card in Standard that does that. Okay. We'll take our hit for board. Okay, no attacks here. Sure. No blocks. Down to 10. When this dies... Yeah, I mean, nothing happens. We might as well just do this now. Let them sack a creature. They go to 8. And we'll finish them off. Good game. There you go. Today we are playing a 0 rare black-green toxic deck. Let's jump in and check it out. We have a ton of toxic creatures, a bunch of proliferate stuff. So let's go through it one by one so we know how it works. So we have 4 copies of Bilious Skull Dweller. It's a 1-mana 1/1 with Death Touch and Toxic 1. We have 4 copies of Blightbelly Rat, 2-mana 2/2 Toxic 1. When it dies, proliferate. We have 4 Pestilent Siphoner, 2-mana 1/1 with Flying Toxic 1. We have 4 copies of Viral Spawning, 3 mana for a 3/3 Phyrexian Beast with Toxic 1. Then if our opponent is corrupted, meaning they have 3 or more poison counters, we get to flash this back for 3 and make another 3/3. Also, really the key card here and what the deck is ultimately built around is the Necrogen Rot Priest. It's a 4-mana 1/5 with Toxic 2. And whenever a creature you control with Toxic deals combat damage to a player, that player gets an additional poison counter. It also has an activated ability. For 3 mana, target creature you control with Toxic gains Death Touch until end of turn. So now let's talk about the non-creatures. So we have 4 copies of Anoint with Affliction, 2 mana. If our opponent is corrupted, we get to exile any creature. If not, anything mana value 3 or less. We have 4 copies of Drown in Ichor. It's a sorcery, but it's 2 mana to give a creature -4/-4 until end of turn, and proliferate. So we want to make sure we get that first poison counter before we start casting these. We have 2 copies of Unnatural Restoration. So 2 mana sorcery, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand, proliferate. 2 copies of Infectious Inquiry, draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. Each opponent gets a poison counter. Vraska's Fall, 3 mana instant, they sack a creature or planeswalker and get a poison counter. And 2 copies of Vat Emergence. What's nice about this is it says put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, and then proliferate. We're playing a budget deck here, but maybe we remove a really good creature, a nice rare that our opponent has access to. We get to bring that back onto our side of the battlefield and then proliferate. We're playing 24 lands, slightly more swamps than forests. Went for the life gain ones this time. I'm not sure that it matters too much, but those are the ones I went for. And that's the deck. Let's go ahead and jump into game number 1. Looks good enough to keep. We'll start with black. Into Siphoner. No removal, excellent. Hopefully we get to peck in for this first poison counter here. Nope, no such luck. So turn 3, we're just going to use our mana and play the Inquiry. We do get that first counter on them. And then we will play out the Rot Priest. And they do the same to us. Okay, so Rot Priest. What's interesting here is depending on what they do, we could play another Rot Priest. Like if they can't remove this, we play another Rot Priest and give them 3 counters this turn. That would be pretty cool. Because their removal probably doesn't hit this card. Let's go ahead and play another Rot Priest. Can they remove it? Oh, they can bounce it. Okay, sure. And then Skull Dweller. Hopefully we can start getting in with these things. They can get us to 3 counters this turn. Ooh, interesting. Okay.
using 2 removal spells on that? Sure, I mean, I guess they do get 2 proliferate triggers from that, which, you know, is pretty good. So we have 5, 6 mana, so we can play 2 spells, play our untapped land, play this, see if it resolves. This way we can play around... Oh no, bring the ending, we would have gotten countered anyway, since they have 4 counters. Okay, so we do get to corrupt them here. Get to 3. Then we play our Siphoner. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 counters. Oh. Good answer. Okay. So, play our land. Hit them for 3 counters. They go to 6. We'll play Unnatural Restoration. Play an... Oh, I should have done that pre-combat. I would have gotten another one. That was my mistake, but that's okay. Alright, so we're gonna return this. So they would be at... They would be at 8 this turn instead of 7. But that's alright. So both of these are lethal. They have to remove both of them. If we connect with either one, the game ends. Okay, so they're gonna put a creature in front of us. Hopefully we draw removal.
I bring my own army.
Okay, no removal, no such luck. But they have to block both, or they lose. And we can just give Death Touch to both. And we just put them in a really tough spot here. And we can still play out our Skull Dweller. And hopefully they whiff this turn. They have 2 shots at it because they get to draw and they get to see a card with Sorin. So missed on the first one, otherwise they probably wouldn't do that.
You wish to know my
Okay,
secrets.
good game.
Very well.
Good game. Of course I had fun in that match. Why would you ask me that? This is a little bit of a risky hand, but I think I'm going to keep it. Just have to hit 1 land. We have some early interaction. We can play the Anoint on turn 2. And we do have a way to get that first poison counter going. Okay, so not going to remove that. Exile target non-creature artifact or non-creature enchantment. That is a dead card against us. Doesn't really do much of anything. So we're going to save our Anoint. Maybe they play a real threat later. Let's just go ahead and play our Viral Spawning. Next turn, we'll play out the Rot Priest. And hopefully they don't have blocks on it. And we'll get this Toxic Train rolling. Okay. Gwenna. So here, I think we're gonna Anoint plus... We're gonna Anoint plus Skull Dweller. That card seems pretty important to their game plan. Let's go ahead and hit them for 3. Plus a poison counter, and then play Skull Dweller. Again, next turn, we'll see what they do. I will attack into that Might with the Skull Dweller next turn, depending on what they play, because then we can use Vraska's Fall to clean up a potentially bigger creature. Okay. Not great for them, I don't think. Do we play the Rot Priest? Protection from red and green. we play Rot Priest? If we play Rot Priest, they probably block, right? Better use of our mana. This way, they probably can't play a creature and equip in the same turn. If they take this, they take 4 counters. Okay. So that's fine. Now, hopefully we draw a land. And we'll play the spawning out of our graveyard plus Vraska's Fall, whatever this thing is. Fantastic. So unfortunately, you don't draw an untapped land, but that's quite alright. They have to sack that, get a counter. We hit them for 2 more. They're at 9. Okay. So literally any proliferate trigger is death, and there you go. Good game. That was a brutal one. We'll keep this. This looks pretty good. Just need to draw a land. Okay, I'm good with that as a first draw. So if they attack, no blocks, we want to get that first hit in. Okay. No block. We'll get that first poison counter going. And then Blightbelly Rat. So this, sacrifice it, discard your hand, draw 4. Take another hit for 1 if they have a trick. Okay, so unfortunately, we don't have removal for Miglaws, but we're going to attack with Skull Dweller. I bet they trade. Don't take it. Don't take it. Alright, that's fine. Now we're going to play Viral Spawning. We still can make a similar play where hopefully we can get one of their creatures off the board and use Vraska's Fall on the Miglaws. This thing, Vigilance and Menace. Okay. Pretty cool. So this costs... What does this cost? This only costs 2 now. They get to sack it. Okay, but if they do that... If they do that next turn... We're going to do something similar. Oh, we don't even need to do that now. So they tapped out for that. So we can just kill that, proliferate, attack. Or do we do it to this? That's interesting. Yeah, I think we're going to wait a turn. We're going to do it to this. I'm going to try and take them off of that. And then offer the trade with this, which they probably will not take. And then next turn... Sure. Next turn... Hopefully they just don't play another creature here. It's a little scary. So we're racing, for sure. Okay, Vigilance and Menace, no problem. We're taking quite a bit of damage here. But I think... we could actually... Well, we can block 1... Do we block this one? I don't think so. Take a big hit here. But we're going to remove the Miglaws next turn. So we're going to... Vraska's Fall. Get a poison counter. We're going to take 5, 6, 7. That's okay. Let's try and get him dead. The next turn, if we draw a land, we get to play Unnatural... Well, we could play Infectious Inquiry, then play Unnatural Restoration to just finish them off, which is very likely that we'll draw a land in one of the next 3 cards. So they've got to figure out a way to produce a lot of damage this turn. Okay, that's not going to be good enough. So now they're going to deal us the 9. Okay, so we go to 2. We untap. Oh no, that loses us a life. Ooh, but well, wait. We attack all. And then we unnatural restoration for the final poison counter. We don't even need that. We can just do this. So they block 2 of them. You gotta block both. And then we unnatural restoration. And we proliferate. There you go. GG. So today we are playing a 0 rare blue-red spells deck. Let's check it out. So let's start with the creatures. We have 4 copies of Delver of Secrets. For 1 mana, we get a 1/1. But at the beginning of our upkeep, we get to look at the top card of our library. If we reveal an instant or sorcery, we get to flip it into a 3/2 flyer. So it's a really efficient, aggressive creature. We have 4 copies of Kumano Faces Kakazan. So it's a 1-mana saga. Deals a damage to each opponent. Then the next creature we cast gets a counter. And then we flip it into a 2/2 with haste. Next, we have 4 copies of Monastery Swiftspear. It's a 1-mana 1/2 haste with prowess. We have Electrostatic Infantry, a 2-mana 1/2 trample that gets a counter whenever we cast an instant or sorcery. And then we have 2 copies of Balmor Battle Mage Captain, 2-mana 1/3 flyer, pumps our team whenever we cast an instant or sorcery. And key here is that it also gives trample, which is really, really nice. Then the instants. We have 4 Consider. We have 4 Fading Hope to bounce creatures. 2 Shore Up to give our creature hexproof until end of turn. You can also use it on as a combat trick if you want to untap your creature on their turn. We have 4 copies of Ancestral Anger. So the first one you play, your creature gets +1/+0 and trample, and then you draw a card. The next time you play it, it gets +2/+0, +3/+0, and eventually +4/+0. We have 4 copies of Play with Fire. So 1 mana, deal 2 to any target, and then 4 Lightning Strike. So we're not playing any rare dual lands here. We're just going to stick with the basics today. So we might get color screwed a little more often than usual, but that's the risk you take when you're not playing with any rares. So that's the deck. Let's go ahead and jump into game number 1. All right, so this looks good to me. I think we'll start on Delver. Try to flip this as quickly as possible. Early flipped Delver can be pretty devastating. Okay, quick removal spell from our opponent there. Let's go ahead and go Electrostatic Infantry. Want to make sure we get as many triggers as we can. Another removal spell, I guess. Okay. We'll go Kakazan. And let's see if we can't hit a 1-mana spell here. Maybe a... Okay. That's alright. So next turn, that's fine, because we get to go Electrostatic Infantry, gets a counter. Wish we had a Fading Hope would be nice. Or, excuse me, Shore Up. Because I think we're eating removal here again. Okay. It survived. So let's go ahead and attack with both. I think we'll go... Let's go Ancestral Anger on the Kumano. Assuming they can't remove both creatures, right? Okay, that's a nice draw. So we're actually going to keep Shore Up available to us here. And not play out the Delver. Okay, so we get to Shore Up. It's another counter. They go to 11. Hopefully we get to untap with these. Nope. Man, mono removal from our opponent here. Okay, so we're just going to go another Ancestral Anger. And hit for 4. Opponent to 7. Delver. Hopefully we get to flip that next turn. Okay, they were stuck on 3 for a while. Here comes Obliterator. Ooh, excellent. So that's 5. We get to... I'm kind of thinking we consider, because we could bounce that creature, deal them 5. I think that's better. Waste their turn. Just do this. I wish we had one more instant to finish them off, but that's okay. Even with our bad mana, we're in a pretty good spot. Because we could... Okay, sack a creature. We got it. Hey, look at that. There you go. That was game number 1. We will keep this one. We're going to play... that's interesting. I think we'll play the Kakazan first, because we definitely can pick up a counter. We draw a 2-drop, we'll play that instead. But now we get a counter on our Delver. And I'm happy to shoot the play with fire at their face if they don't play anything. Okay, we're actually probably going to kill that instead. Yeah, let's kill that instead. Decline. We're going to play the island. Play our second Delver. And if we get to flip these Delvers next turn, this game might be close to over. Hopefully they just go for a removal spell here on one of them. Would be ideal. Okay. So we really want these to flip. Come on. Oh, that's all right. Okay, so we're gonna play Balmor. Do we attack? I think we attack with the... Nah, we're not gonna attack yet. We want them to try to use a removal spell on something. I just play a Sheoldred here. And we would love these to flip. So we're gonna be bashing in. Bloodtithe Harvester. Okay. Turn. Come on, flip. Nice. Excellent. Okay, so we're gonna go Ancestral Anger on the... I think the Kumano? No. We'll do it on Balmor. Again, we do have Shore Up if they try to do anything here. Okay, excellent. So let's go ahead and we will attack with the Kumano. We're fine to trade that off. Nope. Well, let's see. That's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We might have lethal here. I might go for the Shore Up depending on how they block. Because if we Shore Up... I think we have lethal. Should be good. That's 11. 15. You can remove the Kumano in response, which is okay. I mean, they're still taking 1 million damage. There you go. Was that a turn 4 kill or a turn 5 kill? So we'll keep this one. I think we're gonna go for the Swift Spear first, because next turn we can play Delver plus another instant. Whereas if we play Delver first, we can't play a proactive instant next turn. We're probably just gonna go for Ancestral Anger if they... Okay. That works for me. So let's go ahead and play Delver. Again, Ancestral Anger gives Trample, which is nice. We want to hopefully hit another land here, actually. Good. Okay, and we'll get in for 3. Opponent down to 15. Hopefully that pain land helps us out a little bit. That's going to be kind of punishing for them to use here, I think. We will take one from this. So, let's see, Bankbuster. Fine by me. No flip. We're going to play another Delver. I'm wondering if we're proactive here. I think we are, because we want to try and get these flipped. Let's bottom this. Normally I would keep that on top, but since we have the two Delvers, we really want to hit an instant next turn. So we'll go ahead and hit them for 3. And then they might try to invest some resources in this Fusling. If they do, we'll bounce it. Okay, so here we're actually going to get this token. And again, hopefully we give ourselves a good chance to get that instant on top. So let's go ahead and do this now. So we'll bounce this. Anything other than an instant, we're going to put on the bottom. And hopefully we hit one. Come on. Nice. Okay, so do we bounce the 1/1? That's 6, 7, 8. No. They can't crew this, so we can still attack with the Swift Spear. But we'll save the Fading Hope for something else. So they chump block us there, which is fine. I think we'll hold the land. In case they're playing discard, we don't want to lose this Fading Hope. Like if they drop a Liliana or something. We don't really need the last island. And they have to deal with both flyers. Okay, Sholdred. Not good enough. GG. There you go. So we'll keep this one as well. We've got an early threat. Opponent playing enchantments. Get him for 1. Next turn, we're probably just going to play the Electrostatic Infantry. We might miss an attack. But this way we don't miss out on any triggers from our instants and sorceries. Would love an attack from them, actually. Good. Okay, so here we're going to play the infantry, like I said. And next turn, we can start to cast some instants. We could play Balmor, maybe bounce their Generous Visitor if they invest some more resources into it. Just reset those counters. And I'm fine with an attack here again. This deck can produce a lot of damage really quick. The odds that we lose a race are slim. We're going to lose to long-term value, like if they remove all of our threats. Okay, so they split their counters. Sure. So here we're going to go for Balmor and bounce the Generous Visitor. We'll give our creatures trample, pump them up a little bit, and we'll put this on the bottom. We want to hit either a blue instant or another threat. So opponent to 12. Next turn, depending on what we draw, we'll probably just start with Ancestral Anger just to cycle that through. Okay, Generous Visitor comes back down. Yukai Naturalist. Assuming counter on the companion, probably. Sure. Okay. So they can attack us for 3 if they wanted to. So here, let's hold our land first. Let's see what we draw. So we're going to start by putting a counter, or the +1/+0 rather, on Balmor, because that's definitely getting in. We're going to take a look at our attacks after this. We miss a trigger this way. I think we lightning strike in combat. Because let's say they like quadruple block the infantry. We could kill that and still kill their other 2 creatures. If they... Yeah, which this can't work out badly for us, I don't think. That's 7, 8, 9, 10. If they don't block, they're dead. We're probably just going to kill the Jukai Naturalist in combat. So let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10. We just shoot this and we win. That's enough. There you go, good game. Whew. Deck is mean. Today we are playing a mono black rats deck in standard with only 4 rares. Let's jump in and check it out. So first, let's take a look at those 4 rares. So we have 4 copies of Karamonix the Rat King, 3 mana for a 3/3 with Toxic 1. Other rats you control have Toxic 1, so we're just going to jam as many rats into this deck as possible. It also, when it enters the battlefield, you get to look at the top 5 cards of your library, reveal any number of rat cards from among them, and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So a lot of times this is a 3 mana 3/3 that draws 1 or 2 cards, just a really solid creature when it's built around well. We're playing Gnawing Vermin, a 1 mana 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, target player mills 2 cards, and when it dies, target creature you don't control gets -1/-1 until end of turn. We're playing 4 Okiba Reckoner Raid, 1 black for a Saga. Each opponent loses a life and you gain a life in stages 1 and 2, and then it flips into a 2/2 Menace. We're playing 4 copies of Anoint with Affliction. In this deck, most of the time, it's 2 mana to exile any creature. We have 4 copies of Blightbelly Rat. It's a 2 mana 2/2 with Toxic 1. When it dies, proliferate. And when Karamonix is in play, this will be a Toxic 2, because Toxic does in fact stack. We have 4 copies of Drown in Ichor. 2 mana sorcery, target creature gets -4/-4 until end of turn, and then proliferate. So we get to proliferate our poison counters and remove something. We have 4 Chittering Skitterling, 3 mana 1/4 rat. When our opponent is corrupted, meaning they have 3 or more poison counters, we can sack an artifact or creature to draw a card. We can only do that once each turn. We're super happy to sacrifice these Gnawing Vermin, ping off an X1 from our opponent, and draw a card. We have 2 copies of Infectious Inquiry. We draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. Each opponent gets a poison counter. 2 copies of Vraska's Fall. Each opponent sacks a creature or planeswalker and gets a poison counter. We talked about Karamonix. And lastly, we have 4 copies of Mukotai Ambusher. 4 mana 3/2 with Ninjutsu and Lifelink. One of our best targets for Ninjutsu is the Okiba Reckoner Raid, so it has Menace, so this card is able to get in a lot. When we bring it back to our hand, we get to recast it and get all of those Saga triggers again. And super simple mana base here. We're just playing 24 basic swamps. So that's the deck. Let's go ahead and jump into game number 1. This looks good enough. We'll keep this. We'll start on Reckoner Raid. And then hopefully draw into some action. Alright. And just play another one. Nothing else to do here. Our opponent is on blue-black Proliferate. Unfortunately, we have a little bit of a slow start here. Since our opponent's not playing creatures, these Drown in Ichors are kind of dead. But we'll have a decent turn next turn. We can attack with the Road Captain. Okay, they are killing it. Alright, so here, we're just going to play this out. We'll use our mana. Opponent deciding to kill something. Exiles our creature. Another Inquiry. So they are losing quite a bit of life here. We just play a million Reckoner Raids. So let's attack. See if we can't get some damage in here. Down to 9. Down to 8. If these resolve. Death by Reckoner Raid, we'll see. Not exactly how the deck is supposed to work, but we'll see how it plays out. Alright, so they get to counter that. And we'll pass the turn. We'd love for them to just play a creature. Got 2 dead cards here. Play like a Voidwing hybrid or something. There you go. Excellent. Okay. So here we're just gonna play... I think Drowning Ichor is a little bit better, since we get to proliferate and flip this a turn faster. So that way we can attack with it next turn. Okay, so we'll pass. And hopefully, again, would love for them to spend their turn just playing a creature. Distorted Curiosity, draw 2. Or even like a Veraska wouldn't be bad. Okay, they're looking for proliferate triggers, I guess. Tapping those underground rivers is going to be a little bit dangerous as well. So here, I'm going to go ahead and use this card. And hit them for 2 more, hopefully. Down to 4. I don't believe their deck plays discard. Is there a reason to play this? Let's just hold it. I don't think they're playing discard, but you never know. So here they're going to take another point of damage. So that's good. Down to 3. Not how I was expecting this game to play. Again, we're still pretty close to death here. So they only need 3 more poison counters. But we only have to deal them 3 more damage, so we'll see. Alright, so there's 8. Alright. So if this ambusher gets in, we just win. They might have proliferate stuff. Maybe a removal spell here. Okay, unblocked. Let's see. Can't counter it because it's ninjutsu. Are we good? Come on, pass. Pass. Damn. Okay, this is probably it. But let's do this. So we play this. And then we're gonna destroy this thing so they can't get us in the air. Opponent down to 1. Let's go. What a game. That was a close one. I did not think we were going to win that. This looks solid. We'll keep this. We'll start on Gnawing Vermin. Mill ourselves. And we'll see what they play. Okay, so here I am going to attack into that. I would be happy to trade or ninjutsu and get the beatdown started. Next turn we'll play the Caramonics. Let's see what our opponent's playing. Looks like red-green oil. So the Flamestoker lets them discard their hand and draw 4 cards. It gets cheaper with more oil counters. So this is a great way for them to refill their hand. If they tap out here, we might just kill that thing. Let's see, can they sack this? No, so we get in for another hit here. So we're just going to go ahead and play the Caramonics. We'll draw some cards. Excellent. And then hit them for 3 more. Plus a poison counter. This deck is interesting because it can kill either way, damage or poison. It really just depends on the game. Nice aggressive start, scared him away, I guess. This looks good. Let's start with Reckoner Raid, since we have the Mukotai Ambusher. And Gnawing Vermin. Again, mill ourselves just to be safe. Llanowar Loam Speaker. So here, we're just going to Vraska's Fall. Get that first poison counter on them. And then hit them for 1. Next turn, if they just play a creature, we have a pretty good turn. We get to Drown and Ichor plus Mukotai Ambusher. So Gala Greeters. Let's attack with both. We'll see what they want to do. Alright, and we'll ninjutsu the Road Captain. We're going to save the removal. Down to 13, and we'll just play the Reckoner Raid. And we'll save the Drown and Ichor for a better threat. They might also have a Tameo Safekeeping. Thought that was a little suspicious that they played that with mana up. Okay, opponent playing Elves. That's cool. So getting a treasure token. Here we're probably going to use removal on the Visionary. If they don't tap out here, okay. So let's see what they go for this time. Gain 2 life. Alright, so we drain them. This time, we're going to give them terrible blocks. So we're going to kill this, proliferate poison counters, and flip our Reckoner Raid. If they want to double block the Ambusher, I'm fine with that. Okay, now here we get to ninjutsu again. Deal them 6. And play the Vermin. Again, mill ourselves. Wouldn't mind drawing Caramonics. Or even the Skitterling would be pretty good right now. We could sack the Vermin. Well, we still got to get them that 3rd poison counter. So this deck operates without Caramonics, but it is obviously much, much better with it. Because we really need to get 3 poison counters to turn on some of our stuff. Alright, and our opponent drawing a card from Vineshaper Prodigy, gaining 2 life back to 9. And passing back to us. So again, fine to trade these off. Tyvar stand, sure. So opponent down to 3. And we'll play Blightbelly Rat. Game is definitely not over yet. Nice that we're at 39 though. I don't think it's likely that we die anytime soon in case they start to claw back into this. So Nissa. That's a card. That one's a little bit scary. So assuming they make a 7/7 here. They could destroy the Road Captain. I don't think that would be very good. Interesting. Didn't expect that. So Caramonics is really nice off the top. We're gonna play this. Hopefully we hit some stuff here. Nice, 2 creatures. So now this is great because if we attack all, they have to block everything or lose because we get to bring in the Ambusher. So they know we have it though. So they have to block every creature. So this puts them in kind of a tough spot. Oh, sorry. You had to block the Vermin too. Unless you have an instant, you could tap the Stalwart. Maybe gain 2 life. Maybe? No. Okay, good game. Today we are playing a 0 rare mono red deck in Standard. Let's jump in and check it out. Let's go through the creatures first. We have 4 copies of Cacophony Scamp, 1 red for a 1/1. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. If you do proliferate. So we're going to pump up the Scamp with cards like Ancestral Anger, gets +X+O, where X is 1 plus the number of cards named Ancestral Anger in your graveyard, then draw a card. We can pump it with Blazing Crescendo, +3/+1 until end of turn, exile the top card of your library. Till the end of your next turn, you may play that card. And then when we sack it, we get to deal damage equal to its power. So we pump it up, hit our opponent with a big creature, and then sack it to do the damage all over again. So really powerful card. Next, we have 4 copies of Monastery Swiftspear, 1 red for a 1/2 haste prowess, triggering off all of these instants and sorceries we're playing. Next, 4 copies of Phoenix Chick, essentially just a 1 mana, 1/1 haste, but if it dies, we could bring it back if we attack with 3 or more creatures and pay 2. Comes in tapped and attacking with a +1/+1 counter on it. Next, we have 4 copies of Rabbit Battery. 1 mana, 1/1 haste, equipped creature gets +1/+1 in haste, so we can re-equip it for 1 red. And then lastly, in our creatures, we have Kumano faces Kakazan. So 1 red for a Saga, deals 1 damage to each opponent. The next stage, when you cast your next creature spell, it enters with a +1/+1 counter on it. Then it flips into a 2/2 haster. We talked about Ancestral Anger. We also have Play with Fire. So 1 red to deal 2 damage to any target. If a player's dealt damage this way, we get to scry 1. We have 4 copies of Blazing Crescendo. We have 4 copies of Lightning Strike, deal 3 to any target, and 4 copies of Reckless Impulse. Exile the top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. And just simply playing 20 basic mountains. So that's the deck, classic mono red strategy. Let's go ahead and jump into game number 1. This is an interesting hand. I think I'm going to keep it. So I wish we had 1 more creature, but hopefully we can draw into one with the Ancestral Anger. So, I don't think it matters who we start with, really, but more likely that we get the Phoenix Chick in. If the opponent stumbles a little bit, it's more likely that we get to block, or we get to avoid blockers with the Ancestral Anger on a flyer. So that's interesting that they are trying to race here. Let's just go ahead and play our 2 creatures. And we'll hopefully have a nice attack with Cacophony Scamp next turn. Get them down to 18. Beast Caller. And Ronin. Okay, that's interesting. No blocks. So here we can go +1/+0 on the Scamp. And then we could attack all. We'll keep back Rabbit Battery. And we'll attack like this. We'll go Blazing Crescendo. We'll sack it. Deal them another 5. We're not proliferating. We'll deal them another 5. So now they're at 7. Next turn, hopefully they get greedy here and attack. I mean, they're putting out some good damage too. But this is good. So here, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's just see. Hopefully they don't have removal. If they do, they probably go for it here. Okay, so that's 3. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're just gonna do it like this. So we're gonna go hit for 3. Take the less risky line in case they have removal, which in fact they did. Okay, so now we're gonna play Cacophony Scamp. Let's see, we take a bunch of damage next turn this way. So here we have to use the Lightning Strike now. Let's see, this is 3 or 5. We chump block 1. It's unlikely that they can kill us here. We'll put them to 4. We'll chump block with Rabbit Battery. And then next turn, we can attack with an Ancestral Anger. Ooh, they had one more creature. So I think this is gonna be enough to get us. Oh, man. Let's see. So we have to block both Beast Callers. If they attack all, they force 2 chumps here. Because we can't let either of those creatures through. We take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could still... We could still win this game. If we rip something good. There you go. There it is. Alright. Good game. Wow, brutal. There you go. GG. This looks like a good hand to me. I think we'll start with Rabbit Battery. Just get in for our first point of damage here. And next turn... we can... They'd probably go for Cut Down here. I'm going to go for it anyway. Little bit of risky play, but that's alright. Okay, they had it. That's okay. We'll play Scamp and pass to them. Alright, let's attack. And we will decline here. Last turn, we'll Lightning Strike on their end step. So here, I think I'm going to go for this actually. Since we get to essentially turn that into a burn spell and then hit another card. So let's see. They have the counter. Sure. Okay, pass turn to them. And we'll just throw this at their face. I don't see why not. Down to 11. Okay, hitting a few lands here, unfortunately. Okay.
I've already read your thoughts. You won't stop us.
Rabbit Battery, good draw. Hopefully they don't have the last cut down. But we're gonna go for it. Make them have the answers. Okay. Sure, just play another one. Why not? Here... Not super concerned about mill. Creature gets -3, -0. I guess that's okay. I'm gonna put it at them. Because I think we're more likely to be able to get them dead before that Jace matters. Oof. Good answer there. Okay, we're milling. Really far from 20. Play with fire. We will tax mana on their turn. And then we'll get the Scry. Assuming it resolves. Okay. Going a bunch of lands, I'll take that. And hopefully this resolves. Okay, and we need to bottom this because we really need to hit a creature. Okay, this is fine as well. Again, we're going to tax their mana on their turn.
Heal.
Maybe they just have creature counters or removal spells. Or maybe they don't want to use a counter on this. Syncopate. Alright. Ancestral Anger. Damn, couldn't have been a creature when they were tapped out.
No secret escapes my grasp.
Okay. I'm gonna hold this land in case they're playing Liliana or some other form of discard. Okay, this might be tough for us to get damage through what I'm assuming are a million counter spells that they're holding.
Our plans are beyond.
Like they're just not gonna let us resolve anything, but we'll see. We're gonna try. 5 is low enough that we might be able to pull something off here. So let's say it's another syncopate. I'm just gonna go for it. And we might scoop this game up here in a minute if this gets removed. We're just so out of gas. Okay. Good game. You got it. Close one. Looks like a good start to me. So we get to start with the Swift Spear. Hopefully no removal here. Let's see. Could play around, cut down. I'm gonna play this first. See what happens. I'm gonna go for it. And excellent. We get to bash them for 4. Already down to 14. It's a good start. This turn, we want the counter on the Swift Spear. And then we'll go ahead and play Reckless Impulse this turn. We'll use all of our mana. We'll get the Prowess triggers. Yep, assuming removal spell there. Then it does tax their life total, so that's good. Opponent down to 10. Make a sack, I'm assuming.
Happy to help, but
Sure.
I've always hated.
Now this turn, we're gonna play our land from exile, our creature from exile. We have a haste creature. We'll just play our 2 haste creatures, and let's hope that they don't have a board wipe here, because that would be pretty painful. If we equip here, that's 5 to them. Yeah, we'll just do this. They have another Liliana, that's okay.
Fine, I'll take my zombies.
We can... Oof. Oof. Okay, that's alright. So we go Phoenix Chick. We're still in the running here. We'll exile 2 cards. Yeah. Ancestral Anger. And hit for 3. Opponent down to 4. So that malfunction was very good. Ooh. Okay. So I think we have it here. So we get to play Rabbit Battery. We get to attack with both. And then crescendo the other one. Good game. We're going to keep this. This looks good. We're on the draw, unfortunately. Bang of Shigeki. That's... I feel like that's pretty bad against this particular hand that we have. With the flyers. Okay, Beast Caller. I think we're just gonna kill this thing now while it doesn't have any counters on it. Normally, I would save that to shoot them in the face with it, but in this particular case, I'm gonna assume that the Beast Caller is pretty important to their deck. Card is quite powerful. Okay, opponent missing lands. So here we're gonna crescendo first, because perhaps we hit a land off the top. Alright, so let's play our land. We'll attack for 5. And and I don't see why not. I'll just do this now. Yeah, keep this on top. We get to crescendo again. Okay. Another Loam Speaker. Kami. Here we're going to do the same thing. We're going to crescendo first. And we'll hit for 5. We don't have an attack with the rabbit battery, but we'll just play it out. And they need to find an answer for both of these flyers, because we hit them for 2, or they need to gain some life. We hit them for 2, and then Lightning Strike for the win. If we hit a land, we get to play 2 Lightning Strikes. This is just not good enough, unfortunately, for them. Doesn't have reach. No blocks. Alright, good game.
Today we are playing this budget blue-white heroic flyers deck in standard. Let's jump in and check it out. So we are playing 4 rares in this deck. We're playing 4 copies of Ledger Shredder. It's a 1 and a blue, 1/3 flyer. When a player casts their second spell each turn, it connives. The great thing about this card, though, is it is a multi-format all-star. Spending these 4 wild cards is a really good use of them. You'll play this card in lots of other decks, in Explorer and Historic if you play those formats as well. So when this rotates, you're not going to be sad that you spent 4 wild cards on Ledger Shredder. Awesome rare. We're also playing 3 copies of Fairy Vandal, so 1 in a blue for a 1/2 flash flyer. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it. And then really what the deck is built around are these 2 creatures. So we have 4 copies of Illuminator Virtuoso, 1 in a blue for a 1/1 double strike. When it becomes a target of a spell you control, it connives. And then we have 4 copies of Stormchaser Drake. So 1 in a blue 2/1 flyer. When it becomes a target of a spell you control, draw a card. So we're just going to play a bunch of instants that target these, draw us a bunch of cards, keep them alive, and bash our opponent with giant double strikers and flyers. So let's go through the non-creatures now. We have 4 copies of Homestead Courage, 1 white, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains vigilance until end of turn, and you can flash it back for 1 white. We have 2 combat research. So 1 blue, enchanted creature has, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. We have 3 fading hope, 1 blue, return target creature to its owner's hand. If its mana value is 3 or less, scry 1. And then we have 3 copies of Spell Pierce. For 1 blue, we get to counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2. And we also have 3 copies of Security Bypass, 1 in a blue. As long as enchanted creature is attacking alone, it can't be blocked. And it has, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, it connives. So we get to grow our creature, and then hopefully sneak through a giant double-striking Virtuoso. So this is a great 1/2 punch, Security Bypass plus Virtuoso. And then the protection spells. So we have 3 copies of Lauren's Escape, 1 white for an instant, target artifact or creature gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn, scry 1. 3 copies of Shore Up. For 1 blue, target creature gets +1/+1 and hexproof until end of turn. And then we have 4 copies of Slip Out the Back. So for 1 blue, we get an instant, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and it phases out. What's great about phasing is when an opponent tries to remove your creature on your end step, you tap out for Slip Out the Back, you phase out your creature, but then they don't get to target again until your next turn, so you'll get to untap and have more protection available. Lastly, the mana base, we're playing 9 islands, 7 plains, and 4 of the basic tap land. Very quick upgrade here would be to swap in 4 rare dual lands so they come in untapped. Since we have a lot of 1 mana instants, the mana is pretty intensive in this deck. So the tap lands are a little bit painful, but they suffice. They get the job done. The deck definitely operates without the rare dual lands. So that's the deck. Let's go ahead and jump into game number 1. This looks good. We're going to want to draw a 3rd land, obviously. But this looks like a decent start. And again, we want to try to pass with protection up, but here I'm okay with using having a Ledger Shredder eat removal if they have a cut down. So I would rather them remove that than a Virtuoso, which is exactly what happened. So hopefully here we'll get to draw a land. No such luck. So I think we still play it, even though we don't have a way to protect it currently. Hopefully this thing will survive until our next turn. No such luck. Still no land. So I think we have to pass here, unfortunately, because we can't afford to lose another Virtuoso with all of this stuff in our hand.
Getting a little bit unlucky here. We are only playing 20 lands, so it's not unreasonable that something like this could happen. Would love our opponent to just play a creature so we could scry and try to hit that land. So this does have ward. So not a great card to use a Fading Hope on. But we can discard a Homestead Courage. Oh, this is interesting. That actually kind of works out. So we get to Fading Hope this, and that actually will give us a scry as well. And there you go. We'll keep that on top. Pass to us. Play a land, and we'll play the Virtuoso. And then if they target it, we get to slip out the back. Okay. Think we'll let this go through. We'll take our 3, and then we're gonna bounce the Obliterator. We don't get to scry, but that's okay, because now we get to go Combat Research. We'll Connive and discard a Homestead Courage. And then I think we're gonna play a Homestead Courage as well. And this time we'll discard a Lauren's Escape. Since we have 2 spells already, we'll just bash them for 8. Draw a card. Okay. Another 4, draw a card. Nice little combo there. Okay, and now we have to pass because we have to keep this creature alive. And we do have 2 slip out the back. So if they try to remove it, we can... Okay, so sack a creature. But now it's like we don't have the creature in play. Yeah, phasing is a little bit confusing. I think we want to keep that, so we'll discard the land this time. Phasing is quite strange. So they can't attack. No, okay. So here, well, they really want to, they have to chump block us. I guess they don't have to chump block. I wonder if we should, let's try to hit our can't be blocked card. I'm blanking on the name right now. But let's just go ahead and do that. So, go to combat. Assuming they chump block. No problem. And then, again, we're just going to keep this thing alive. So we're going to slip out the back if they try to do anything here. We really need to... security bypass. There you go. Just blanking on the name. Security bypass to get through our opponent's blockers here. We're obviously not going to attack into that. But we could also phase their creature out. Yeah, I think we're going to do that because they tap out here. We're going to phase this thing out. And then we just have to target this one more time, and that's game. So they're phased out. They can't... Yeah, there you go. That was a cool game. We have to mulligan. No threats. We have to have a creature in our starting hand. I think we'll put back Spell Pierce. I think I prefer Fading Hope over Spell Pierce, not knowing what we're playing against. Okay, opponent playing Mulch. Okay, and then we'll play Ledger Shredder. Going to destroy that, sure. Now here we get to play Drake, keep up, slip out the back, pass the turn. Let's see if we can't start getting some attacks in. Okay. Play a land, we'll hit for 2. Play another one. And pass the turn. If they have like a Brotherhood's End or something, we'll just get to slip out the back one of them. which would be alright. They tap out for like a Sholdred or something. We'll just probably bounce it. Let's see what's coming. Sure, so -2, -2. So we're just going to slip out the back. Draw a card. We lose one of our creatures. We get to keep the other one. So now here, let's hit for 3. And I think we'll just keep our mana available. We'll Fairy Vandal and keep slip out the back available. Opponent returning a Flesh Gorger to the battlefield. Has Ward. So here, do we bounce it and pay the life? Probably. Probably worth it. Kind of okay with that. Yeah. little ridiculous, but this way we keep all of our mana available to us. Or we keep the beatdown going, rather. So here, let's hit for 4, play Virtuoso, pass the turn. They can just straight up cast that Flesh Gorger this turn, if they wanted to. Okay. Now, which creature do we protect? It's probably the Virtuoso. Yeah, we'll discard Drake. And the Scoop. Okay, I'll take that. I don't think they were quite dead yet, but pretty close. We're going to mulligan this. No creature in the opening hand. This looks good enough. I think we'll put back... Let's put back one of the Homestead Courage. And we'll start on our tap land. Reinforced Ronin, so it looks like we're up against some kind of black-red artifact deck. And we'll play 1 without protection available. If they want to remove it, that's okay. Okay, Oni Cult Anvil. That is your turn. That's cool with me. Excellent. So here, we're just going to attack. And let's get this Fairy Vandal online. If they play something really good, we could Spell Pierce. But I think we're likely just going to play Fairy Vandal. Fine by me. If they do play 2 spells this turn, we will discard a Homestead Courage. Okay. They get their trigger. We'll go ahead and flash this in. If we have some instant speed removal here, that's totally fine. Okay, nothing. So we get to untap. I think we'll put a counter on... Not really sure. I think we'll put counter on Ledger Shredder. And then hit them for 3. Since we have Vigilance, we can block the Ronin. And we'll pass the turn with Spell Pierce available. Okay, so no removal, I don't think. Or, I mean, perhaps they're playing around my Spell Pierce, but I'm not sure that you can afford to wait for me to tap out. Yeah, you can. I'll take the 1 here. Might be a bluff, but that's okay. In case they only have like a deal 3 or something. Sacking the creature. It's interesting that they keep leaving mana up. Let's go ahead and play our Homestead Courage. And we'll play another one since we do have Spell Pierce, and we'll get to Connive here, and I will discard probably the Ledger Shredder, depending on what we draw here. But yeah, let's go ahead and discard Ledger Shredder. Get to pump our creatures. They've got Vigilance. And we'll hit for 7. So we only have 1 protection spell available. But we also have Spell Pierce. If they try to play like a board wipe or something. Okay, Synthesizer, all good. Burn down the house. So we just have to get 2 more counters on the Vandal. And we get out of range of that. So that only deals 3, so that's not good enough. But that does enable an attack for them. They want to deal 3 damage to each creature. Okay, that's not an instant. Neither of these are instants. Transmoger can't block. We get to discard this. They get to grow their Patchwork Automaton. That's 8 damage. Okay. Well, this would be 9. Let's do it on our turn. We have 8. Fading Hope their creature. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna... I don't think it matters, but they're tapped out. We bounce this thing. We connive. We discard a Spell Pierce. And there's our 11 damage. Good game. Today we are playing this 0 rare green-white toxic aggro deck. Let's jump in and check it out. So this deck wins by getting our opponent to 10 poison counters, but it can win through regular damage, but the goal is 10 poison counters. So let's go ahead and jump into the cards one by one so we know what's going on here. We have 4 copies of Crawling Chorus, 1 mana 1/1, toxic 1. When this dies, create a 1/1 might token. We then have 4 copies of Thirsting Roots, 1 green sorcery, search your library for a basic land, reveal it, put it into your hand, or proliferate. We then have 4 copies of Jawbone Duelist, 1 and a white, 1/1, double strike, toxic 1. We have 4 copies of Ossification, 1 and a white, essentially just exiles a creature or planeswalker. Cankerbloom, 1 and a green for a 3/2. You can pay 1 and sack it to either destroy an artifact, an enchantment, or proliferate. We have 2 copies of Unnatural Restoration, 1 and a green for a sorcery, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand, proliferate. We have 4 copies of Slaughtersinger. This is really an all-star in this deck. It's green-white for a 2/2 with Toxic 2. Whenever another creature you control with Toxic attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. We have 4 copies of Annex Sentry, 2 and a white for a 1/4 with Toxic 1. When it enters the battlefield, exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls with mana value 3 or less until it leaves the battlefield. We have 2 copies of Charge of the Mites. For 2 and a white, we get an instant. We can either deal damage equal to the number of creatures we control to target creature or planeswalker, or create 2 1/1 might tokens. We then have 4 copies of Flensing Raptor, 2 and a white 2/2, flying, toxic 1. When it enters the battlefield, another target creature you control with toxic gets +1/+1 and gains flying until end of turn. And then 2 copies of Venomous Brutalizer, 2 green for a 4/4 with toxic 3. And when it enters the battlefield, you may pay 1 and a green. If you do, proliferate. And then we have a super basic mana base here, 9 plains, 9 forests, and 4 botanical plaza. That's the deck. Let's go ahead and jump into game number 1. This looks like a good hand to me. We'll start with Jawbone Duelist, and then turn 3, probably just play Slaughtersinger. Actually, now we're going to play Flensing Raptor, since we drew that. Hopefully they just play a blocker. No removal here. If they play a flying creature of their own, like the 2/1, the Voidwing hybrid. Okay, so they're just going to choose to kill our creature. I think now we're just going to get the Slaughtersinger down, because the Toxic 2 is a little bit threatening. And again, this creates a similar situation as last turn. Okay, cool. So here we get to play the Raptor and hit them for 2 toxic. And then again, same thing. If they just play removal here, yeah, I think this is okay. Just a million removal spells, sure. Okay, we draw Sentry. So same thing as before, we're going to play the Slaughtersinger and put the onus on them to have removal. They've used a lot of interaction so far. And now here, no reason to play the Raptor, I don't think. Let's just go ahead and attack first. Iresis, sure. We're at 4 counters. They play another bounce spell. Opponent seems to be drawing very well here. Let's just go ahead and recast our 2 spells, use our mana. Pass the turn. Augury, proliferate. They whiff on removal here, though. We can get back into this pretty quick. Infectious Inquiry to 7. Okay. So I think we're going to play Charge of the Mites on their end step to try to generate the most amount of poison that we can. They have to proliferate 3 times, which is definitely doable, because we can sack to proliferate and then Charge of the Mites. We can sack this. That's fine. Okay, let's see. Charge of the Mites. We'll make 2/1/1 Mites. So that is 4 counters, if we get these through, which is not a guarantee. Okay, proliferate us to 9. They go to 4. I think we just present the most damage now and just play a Flensing Raptor. Doesn't matter. They've got a way to proliferate, I'm assuming, right? I mean, if they whiffed here, that would just be insane. Oh my god, they didn't have it! Look at that. What a game. Did I have fun? Yes, I had fun. This looks like a pretty bad hand to me. That can't really start on turn 3. We have to mulligan this. This isn't necessarily any better. We'll put back the green card. Let's see what we're up against. So we're playing a control game, apparently. We'll just go ahead and use Ossification. We have 1,000,000 copies of it. Hopefully we draw a land, preferably a green source. We can hit that Taxidermist. Woo, nice. Okay, Annex Sentry, your Taxidermist. Next turn we could Flensing Raptor. We'll get that first poison counter on if we can. Alright, that's change of plans, so we're gonna Ossification that thing. And get our first poison... Oh! Oh no, I clicked no attacks, come on. Alright, misclick. Hopefully that doesn't completely ruin this game.
Rally, my friend.
Alright, let's try this now, I guess. I gotta kill this thing, right? Yeah, we gotta kill this. So I missed a poison counter, unfortunately.
So long as
And do we play Raptor or Cankerbloom? I think we just play Raptor. If they just play another creature, we have Ossification. No plays. Let's hit for 2 counters. We'll play Cankerbloom and pass. We'll keep this for damage if they don't have anything here. Okay, so they're jamming a Nissa. We're gonna make a 4/4 token.
Beside us.
That is really good for us, actually. So we get to... Wish we could attack it with... Yeah, that's okay. So we're gonna miss a poison counter here. Exile your thing. 3, 4. 3 poison counters. Okay, so Nissa's dead. They're at 3 counters.
Now finished.
Got some threats. Defiler. Just this control game I think is working out pretty nice here. So let's see. I'm expecting a concession probably soon. Just remove all their stuff. Let's jam. Can you play around board wipes? Not against these colors, I don't think. Let's play Crawling Chorus for the Toxic instead. This way we're presenting lethal a couple of ways next turn. Glissa, sure. And the Scoop. Alright, good game. Looks pretty good. See how it goes. Obviously our ideal hand has a Crawling Chorus in it. But Duelist on 2 is a pretty good start. And then hopefully, we really just want our opponent to play a blocker on turn 2 so that we can play Sentry and get those 2 poison counters on. It's a pretty good play pattern for us. Okay, so nothing from them. Let's go ahead and hit for 2. 1, 2. And... yeah, I mean, if they have a board wipe, we get absolutely owned. But I don't think this deck can beat that anyway. Alright, that's actually a really good play for us from them. This game is looking pretty rough for them right now, I think. So we get to get 4 more counters on them. They go to 6. We're just going to use our mana to proliferate and get them to 7. We just have to get 2 more counters, play Cankerbloom and sack it, and survive a board wipe. No. Okay. This game's not over. Game is not over. But it did get a lot more difficult. Cannot destroy that. Okay. Ooh, okay. I think we're gonna go ahead and just sacrifice this. And we really just want to hit 2 more proliferates at this point. We'll use our mana. We have some cheap spells. Oh, duh, I'm tapping out for this, so no. No attacks here. So this is all good. They're gonna get to start attacking us. We just need 1 more proliferate card. They probably are playing counter spells, I would imagine. Okay, so I don't want to play these into open mana. I'll exile the one with more counters. Pass the turn. Hopefully they tap out for something next turn. Wandering Emperor.
Run away.
Okay, they make a samurai.
Keep watch for intruders.
See if we can sneak these counters in, huh? It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
Strike fast.
See, they attack for 3. Sure. I don't care about 3 damage. Gotta keep our threats alive. Okay. Duelist. And we're not in a rush to play this Thirsting Roots. No attacks yet. It's a shame this thing's not an instant. Drawing a bunch of cards. So they can attack with that now. Okay, gain some life. That doesn't matter. They do have 3 mana, so let's say they have...
Let your blade do the talking.
the casualty counterspell here. Take 1 more hit from that samurai before we start blocking. Okay, let's... Screw it, let's go for it. Let's see if we can get it, huh? Let's see if we can get it. 1. Let's see. Fingers crossed. Resolve. Let's go. GG. Today we are playing this 0 rare black-white Phyrexians tribal deck. The deck plays around with the new mechanic from March of the Machine, Incubate. Cards like Norn's Inquisitor and Phyrexian Awakening incubate X when they enter the battlefield, which means you create an artifact with X +1/+1 counters on it. And then you can pay 2 mana to transform it into a creature. However, we're playing 4 copies of Attentive Skywarden, which says that whenever we deal combat damage to a player or battle, we can flip an incubator token for free. Norn's Inquisitor gives them an extra counter when they transform, and Mandible Justiciar grows whenever we create an incubator token. We're also playing some interaction with 4 copies of Ossification, 2 copies of Sunder the Gateway that lets us blow up an artifact or enchantment and then incubate 2, 4 copies of Annex Sentry that removes a creature or artifact with mana value 3 or less, and 4 copies of Phyrexian Censor that makes it so our opponent can only cast a single non-Phyrexian spell each turn, and all non-Phyrexian creatures enter the battlefield tapped. Finally, we have 4 copies of Sculpted Perfection that upon entering the battlefield will incubate 2 and give all of our Phyrexians, which is every creature in the deck, +1/+1. So that's the deck. Let's jump into game number 1. Good enough. Start on our tap land. See whether we want to just get a 2/2 in play. We'll just go ahead and play Missionary. Good attacker. And we'll just go ahead and use Annex Sentry on that. So that works out nicely here. And hit for 2, gain 2. They just play another 3-drop. It's actually pretty good for us. This is exile target artifact or creature. Actually, let's play Skywarden first. So we're going to attack with Missionary. We'll play Skywarden. Next turn, we can play the Phyrexian Awakening. And we'll get to flip our token right away, which feels really strong. So hopefully we get to keep this Skywarden alive. And make a 2/1. No, in case they have a trick, I think we'll just take this one. So I guess we should have attacked with the Annex Sentry. But that's alright. Just 1 point we're missing there. Another Urabrask's Forge. So here, we are going to stick with the plan. We're going to play Phyrexian Awakening. We get to incubate 4. Vigilance feels really good here, especially against their deck. And then we get to flip our token. We have a 4/4. Feeling like we're in a good spot. Especially because we have answers for all of these things. So I will block this and don't care about the 1. They have a trick. This is like totally fine. Okay. Let's see. If we draw land. Okay. So I think this is our best option. So we're going to destroy an artifact. Incubate 2. Hit them in the air for 2. And then flip this for free. And then next turn, we'll remove another Forge with the Annex Sentry. Okay. Surprised they're not... Okay, I was going to say, I'm surprised they're not attacking here. Do we block? I think we double block Adaptive. Can they do this at instant speed? No. If they have a trick, that's fine. I'm cool with this. If we trade Missionary. Sure. No problem. Take our damage. Okay, now we get to remove the Urabrask's Forge. And hit for 2. Take a little bit of damage here. We have a good turn next turn if we draw a land. So So they're definitely putting some pressure on us. I think we take our 5. Because now we're going to remove that creature this turn. So in this case, it's a little more mana efficient. We're going to play Justiciar. And then Ossification, the 5/5. Hit them for 2. Opponent down to 5. And next turn we get to play Sculpted Perfection. They just have a million Monumental Facades, a million Urabrask's Forge. We trade with the Justiciar. Well, if we don't block, we go to 5. We attack all. And they block the 2/1. They take 4. Yeah, no blocks because we have lethal next turn with the Sculpted Perfection. So we're just gonna do this. Sculpted Perfection. And jam. Good game. Good enough. Hopefully we draw a black source. But this hand can operate on 2 mana for a little while, so that's good. Here, let's go ahead and play the Inquisitor first. I don't think this deck we're playing against is going to be playing any artifacts or enchantments that we can blow up. On the off chance that they are, no block? Do we block? Yeah, I'll block. That feels good enough to block, actually. I'm cool with that. So here, play the Sky Warden just to be mana efficient. I think that's right. Okay, Invasion of Segovia. Non-creature spells you cast have Convoke. At the beginning of your end step, untap up to 4 creatures. Okay. Pretty cool. If we play the Invasion... Yeah, let's do that. We'll play the Invasion. We'll sacrifice this. Blow up this. And then we... Alright. We'll just hit this. So here... Don't have any creatures to get back. Oh, we do have a creature to get back. We have nothing we can transform right now. That's okay. So we're just going to do this. Bring this back. Destroy this. And we'll attack them with this. I'm fine with losing this thing if they want to block, which they probably don't. And then let's just go ahead and use our mana to equip this now. They're going to get to flip this thing. Deal us 2 damage. I totally missed that was a 3/3 too when I first read it. I just saw it as an enchantment. We'll probably just remove that thing, just to make sure they can't go off with it. So it is a creature now. It's no longer a battle. Pretty cool. So untap their creatures. All right, so here we're gonna go ahead and do this. We'll play Ossification and get rid of their Kaitis, unless they have a counter, which they very well may have. Sure, get some value from it. They hit a counter spell? No. We'll remove this. Play our Inquisitor. And we will attack all, because this is whenever it attacks, they get counters. So if they want to trade all their stuff away, that's cool with me. They go to 9. We get to flip this. It's a 3/3. Pass the turn. It feels like we're in a pretty good spot here. Let's see, they can flip that. But they're in a pretty bad spot. Even if they flip this. Unless there's some combo I'm not aware of. Maybe they get to cast another one, sure. But now they're tapped out. But non-creature spells have Convoke. Let's play this pre-combat since we're going to get a counter on it. And we're just going to jam with the team. This is pretty cool. Let's see, chump blocking with all of these. Sure. They go to 5. And let's see. Not really sure what they do here to get back into this game. Can you go off right now? So they get to hit us. Not removing any counters. So weird. Okay. Yeah, we'll do this now. Just to have it. Pick up the counter. And good game. Kind of went off there with the Invasion of New Capenna. This looks like a good hand. We'll keep this. Start on the Inquisitor. Into Skywarden on turn 3. So here, do I offer the trade? No, I don't think so. I will trade if they attack, since we can just get the Inquisitor back with the Phyrexian Missionary later. Do they just transform this now? That would be interesting. Okay. Make a 2/2. No attacks. That works for me. So here we're gonna make our incubate 4, hit them for 2, and then flip our 4/4. And now it's a 5/5. This is a nice start here. If we draw a land... Oh, that's unfortunate. So unfortunately... Yeah, we'll trade with this. That is cool with me. Keep them off the battle for a turn. And then now... We didn't draw an untapped land, unfortunately. But I think Phyrexian Censor is going to be pretty good against them, making their creatures enter tapped. We deal 2, and then get to flip our token. And I will... They attack with the 2/2, I will block with our 2/2. So this way their creatures are entering tapped. No attacks from them. I think this is just Sculpted Perfection. Incubate. Jam. Whew. Curving out here. Okay, we get to flip our incubator token. All right. We have a good turn next turn as well. If they play something worth removing. All right, so they get to pump up their knights. Yeah, I mean, this is just... So we can only cast one non-Phyrexian spell, so that's going to be Ossification on the Marshal. And a scoop. That was aggressive. Today we are playing this 0 rare mono red burn deck using a bunch of new cards from March of the Machine. The game plan is simple. Get some creatures into play like Monastery Swiftspear, Electrostatic Infantry, and the new Kenra Spellspear that grow whenever we cast a non-creature spell. Then we're playing instants and sorceries like Ancestral Anger and Blazing Crescendo to pump them up and trigger them, plus burn spells like Play with Fire and Lightning Strike that we've seen before, but 2 new additions as well. We're playing Invasion of Regatha that deals 4 damage to our opponent and 1 damage to a creature they control. Plus, if we manage to flip it, it becomes a 4/4 with Prowess that adds 2 damage to our burn spells. And we're playing Stoke the Flames that deals 4 damage to any target. So that's the deck. Let's jump into game number 1. Good enough. We have our 1/1 Haster. Depending on what they play, we'll either play Crescendo or Ren's Resolve. I think here... I think we'll go for the Crescendo just as like a burn spell. And that's pretty good. They know we have it. So we probably don't see them play a 1 toughness creature here. So we won't be able to get them with it. But that will be our play. Okay, so we don't lose this. Go ahead and do this. 4 damage to them and 1 damage to up to 1 target creature. No creatures. Now, choosing whether or not to attack the battle is kind of interesting. I don't think we attack it because we're pretty close to threatening their life total here. So we're just going to kill this Monastery Mentor. We can't let them go off with that. We're just going to Blazing Crescendo again while we can. Again, I'm just going to attack them since... that's actually interesting. We could destroy it now, but again, they're so close to being dead that I think we just send it at them. Because we're not really playing the Regatha for the backside. We're happy to play it for the front side. It's just nice. Good game. This looks really good to me. Swiftspear on 1. Probably our best start. And just so we don't miss any triggers, we're going to play the infantry now. And then next turn, hopefully they just play a 2 toughness creature here. Okay, 3 toughness. But this is alright, because we get to go Lightning Strike, hit them for 4, and break up their game plan. So opponent already at 14. Play a 1 toughness creature. Okay, another 3 toughness creature. So here, if we play Regatha, deal them 4, and attack with both, they can't block us. So that feels pretty good. So they do get to keep their ramp, but again, this is just going to be really mana efficient here. And we'll attack both at them, not the battle. Because again, we're in just a really good spot to end this game really quickly. So unless they slam something crazy here. Okay, so it's pretty good. And they get to untap. Maybe a fight spell. So they are at 6, and we have some good reach. Okay, Beast Caller. So here, if we attack with both Blazing Crescendo and Play with Fire, that should be enough, I think. So maybe we just Play with Fire first. Yeah, that feels right. So we're going to Play with Fire first. Okay, and then we attack with both, and that should be lethal. There you go. Whew. Another quick one. Yeah, looks solid. Unfortunately, did not win the die roll, but that's okay. So we're going to start on Swift Spear. Presents a little bit more damage if they stumble a little bit, which they do. So here we're going to play Scamp plus Ancestral Anger. Get a counter on the Scamp. Presenting 4 damage here. Pretty nice start. And then hopefully they just play like a 2 toughness creature. Oh, Fight Rigging, even better. That's a pretty rough start. That's where Mono Red's good, punishing starts like this from our opponents. So here we'll go Ancestral Anger. Hopefully we just hit Burn Spell or something. Oh, even better. I think this is looking pretty close to over. Play with Fire, their face. Woo! Scary. Yeah, good enough. Good enough. And hit for 10. And unless they can gain life, they just die to Lightning Strike next turn. Alright. Good game. Whew. That is just brutal. Today we are playing this 0 rare blue-red Convoke strategy using a bunch of new cards from March of the Machine. We're playing 4 copies of Meeting of Minds to draw cards, 4 copies of Stoke the Flames to shoot a big creature or our opponent's face, 2 copies of Artistic Refusal for interaction, and 2 copies of Shivan Branchburner. To power out these Convoke cards for cheap, we need to generate lots of creature tokens. Third Path Iconoclast from Brothers War is our main engine, creating a 1/1 artifact token whenever we cast a non-creature spell. We also have 3 copies of Gleeful Demolition to destroy one of those artifacts and turn it into 3 goblin tokens, 4 copies of Raw's Reinforcements to create 2 1/1 elemental tokens, and 2 copies of Invasion of Kaladesh to create a 1/1 Thopter. But if we manage to flip it, it becomes an X4 flyer, where X is equal to the number of artifacts we control. We also have 4 copies of Invasion of Mercadia to smooth our draws and then flip into a really powerful Team Pump effect. And finally, we're playing 4 copies of Invasion of Regatha to burn our opponent or instantly flip one of our other battles. So that's the deck. Let's jump into game number 1. This looks good enough. We do need to hit our 3rd land, but if we don't, we get to play Invasion of Mercadia. Probably discard one of the Regathas for it. Okay, so we hit our 3rd land. Big key to this deck is getting to untap with Iconoclast, which sometimes it just doesn't happen. Thing eats removal really quick, obviously. So here, it's interesting. Blue, red, white, they're playing Jeskai spells, probably, like the Monastery Mentor. Let's just go ahead and we'll play... Yeah, do we play Kaladesh first? Yeah, let's play Kaladesh. We'll get to flip it with the Regatha next turn. And hopefully they play an X1. Okay, just destroying that, too. I don't know that that's a great use of their turn, but maybe they know better than me. Hopefully this resolves. Okay, so we blow this up. No creatures targeted. Unfortunately, this is just an 0-4 right now. Well, it's a 1-4, but we can't crew it yet. And... okay. They get to choose a card from our hand and exile it. It costs 2 more. Here. I think we pass and keep up Make Disappear, right? We can't cast Meeting of Minds on their end step. Really don't want to let them resolve like a Monastery Mentor here, though, if that's what I'm putting them on. Okay, we'll just Make Disappear this. I literally could care less what this card is. We have to counter something, use our turn. Okay, so now that we have 4 mana, we can try to hit a spell. Try to hit a spell. So we'll discard the other Mercadia. And draw 2. We get to play another one? Sure. Why not? And draw 2. And then next turn, we could play Invasion of Kamigawa. Just tons of battles happening and nothing else really. So here, this is just super awkward. I think we just play Regatha to flip a Mercadia. That gives us the best board presence right now, I think. And we get to cast this, so we at least have a 3/3. And we pass the turn. And then next turn we can play Iconoclast plus Meeting of Minds. We would have enough creatures. Just removing this too? Sure. What a strange game. Okay, so now let's see if we can do it. See if we can cast some stuff here. So we'll play Iconoclast. And we'll just do this right away. Now let's make them maybe think they could play around a counter here. 3 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. Sure. We just have to do this now. To draw 2. And we don't need to crew, that doesn't matter. Okay. Here we can go. Now we can play our next Invasion of Regatha to flip the other Mercadia. Okay. And we do have a lot more gas than them at this point, I think. Do we kill our own ship? Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not? This is going to be better for our board anyway, I think. If they have another board wipe, so be it. I'm going to try to flip one of these battles. So they're going to go and target their own Invasion of Karsus, and the backside says, whenever you cast a spell, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. Okay. So now here, could discard to create 2 1/1s. Creatures get +1/+0. We could flip a Regatha. That feels pretty good. I'm going to go for it. So we're going to discard a card. And then attack all at 1. Actually, we can attack 4 at 1, and then 1 at another. Either way, I think we're guaranteed a flip here. So we do get to flip that first one. And then this way, we get to now cast Meeting of the Minds, tapping that 4/4 that we just flipped. Okay, so 2 damage to each opponent. They're going to target the Invasion of Kamigawa. And then hit one of our tokens. So we're starting to get some battles flipped. This is turning into a game. Okay, 2 more damage, because it technically casts. Pass to attackers. I'll trade if they want to offer it. Because we can still cast before damage. So if they have a trick here to kill us, this is like totally fine with me. Woo! That was brutal. Okay, that might just be the game. Here we will do the same thing. Do we discard? They could probably play around Make Disappear. Do they block here? Probably not. 4 here. And these, all of these at the other one. And then if they go to block, yep. So we're going to keep all of our mana available for the Artistic Refusal. we'll just pass the turn. Okay, pass to attackers. No blocks, obviously, so they get to draw a card. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just counter this. And we will tap our creature. And if they have a counter in return, we can make disappear them back. Okay. We'll discard our land. We don't need that. And we will counter anything they play here. Excellent. So they can't afford the 2. Awesome. We get to throw. Good game. That was a good one. Not great, but good enough. We'll keep up make disappear on turn 2. Since we're on the play, we'll have that advantage, hopefully. We have our land drops, so I'm okay with not playing. Or do we play Mercadia? Yeah, maybe we just play the Mercadia so we can be proactive here. Okay. And we discard. We discard Branch Burner. Draw 2. And then next turn we can play the Regatha to flip the Mercadia. It's probably a little bit better than what we would have done originally. And so we flip this. We won't bother targeting them. And we get to cast this 3/3 here. And then next turn, let's see, are we playing a Defender's Mill deck? That's kind of cool. Alright, so now we play Rawl's Reinforcements. We can keep up Make Disappear and Stoke the Flames. And we can always respond to them turning on one of their attackers. So if they want to turn on Coral Colony to attack, that's fine. If they tap out for something here, we'll just Make Disappear. Okay, so we'll go ahead and shoot the... is it the Coral Colony? Is it the Bulwark? Probably just the Coral Colony. I'm assuming this is like their win con, or one of their win cons. Sure. So they pretty much tap out for that. They should have tapped the Bulwark instead. But that's totally fine. And now here, play our land. I'm going to try and flip this one. Yeah, we'll... Do they block the Flame Right if we just attack with that? I think I'm fine losing a 1/1 to guarantee that we can flip this turn. Because maybe they decide to chump block the 3/3. Okay, so now... It's a little overkill, but this way we get to flip it. So 1 damage to any creature, doesn't matter. And we flip this, and now we have Make Disappear. Excellent. Waiting for that card. Whew. Okay, this looks pretty good. See if Iconoclast can survive till turn 3. That doesn't usually happen, but I'm going to go for it anyway. Can't really avoid them just deciding to play with fire the Iconoclast if they have one. Okay. So that kind of worked out. So we get to go, if we play our red source, Get to play Invasion of Kaladesh, make a 1/1. And then we can... Is Meeting of Minds or Gleeful Demolition better? Probably Meeting of Minds, so we'll just pass the turn. We can block and play Meeting of Minds before blocks. Okay, so playing their own Invasion of Kaladesh. So they're gonna get to... Yeah, they're gonna get to deal 2 damage to that. So all good. No block. So we want to be able to cast our own Meeting of Minds here. Mech Titan Core. Oh, that's cool. 4 other artifact creatures. So they're almost there. That's a little scary. Okay. Let's go ahead and draw. Draw 2, make our 1/1. This is crew 2, so they can crew that now. Oh, we just have to shoot this thing, right? So we're going to get them to crew their creature. Yeah, we're going to attack all at this. Do we attack with the Iconoclast too? I'm just a little worried if I attack with the Iconoclast, they're just gonna... Oh, crew it, please. Please crew it. Please crew it. Amazing. Amazing. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I had to. Whew. That was scary. Okay, so hopefully they don't have another one. I mean, we kind of put them in a tough spot because if they traded off, they wouldn't have been able to activate their thing. So hopefully this just delays their plan a ton. They do get to flip the Invasion of Kaladesh now. Okay, Ronin. Yeah, we're not blocking. I'm okay with taking a little bit of damage here. You get to flip their invasion. Okay. And theirs is a little bit better than ours. But we are going to create a bunch of tokens. Hopefully we can draw some spells here. So if we just throw 3 creatures at our own invasion, that's pretty good. So if they crew, they could crew and then chump block the other 2 to prevent us from flipping ours, but I don't know that that's good. So they crew, block, block, block. Okay, I'm fine with that. Because they do weaken their own invasion quite a bit. And here we're going to go tap land, Rawl's Reinforcements, sack to make 3 more 1/1s, and hopefully you can draw some action. I mean, we would have gotten smacked down by that Mech Titan Core. And they pass. It's actually a really good draw for us. We get to discard one of our lands. We'll discard the tap land, and we hit a Branch Burner. So that feels pretty good. It's a 4/4. They can't cast that at instant speed. If they have a way to make an artifact at instant speed, we're going to be really sad. But let's just get this down, and then we'll play our land and go ahead and tap a bunch of these. Let's keep this untapped. So we're going to go like this. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And hopefully we can flip some of these battles this turn. So if we go... like attack you at the Mercadia. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 blockers. Do we bother attacking that? I don't think so. Not right now. We'll just try to flip the Invasion of Mercadia, because next turn, like double block here, or do you have a way to create an artifact? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. I'm surprised they didn't double block, actually. I think that was a little misplay on their part, but that's okay. Or maybe they really want to make sure that they keep the Mechanaut, just because that's like their engine. Maybe that's why. If we get to flip that Mercadia, they might just be dead. All right, and the scoop.
If you like this video and want to see even more budget decks, don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.